It's always game day in Cleveland. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. Okay, so we talked a little bit about, Myles Garrett doing the basketball moves playing football, but the other big move is at Mapleside Farms. I guess we'll give them a little bit of plug. They have a thing called Pumpkin Village out there. If you get a chance, Google this and check it out. They have a corn maze. It's Jurassic Miles. I'm looking at it as we speak. It is really, really cool. It's a corn maze that we always get around this time of year, no matter where you are around Northeast Ohio. And this corn maze is just phenomenal because it's actually a giant maze around Myles Garrett. And Garrett's got his arms up like this.
Yep.
And then you're trying to get your way through it and then work your way through the word Jurassic Miles. It's really cool. Mapleside Farms did it, and I'm sure they're getting a lot of free pub for it, but they earned it, man. That didn't look easy to build.
Yeah, no, it is pretty cool. And I always get a kick out of those. Like those aerial shots of the cornfields that,
yes,
even like, 4th of July, the patriotic ones and stuff like that. God bless those artists that are able to do that. I mean, just drawing or painting something on a wall or a canvas or whatever is hard enough. Imagine doing that with that real life. Hey, you got to cut this stalk of corn down and then that one. And if you cut the wrong one, you screw the whole thing up.
I'll say this, like if aliens are looking at that from outer space, they're probably just going to turn right around because they know Miles is going to come sack them. That's why.
But look, and this is kind of what's cool. Like the Browns have players that are marketable now.
They do. I agree.
Like you got dudes that are marketable now. Now you've got good football players on both. And the other thing is you don't have problem children. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we probably have the biggest problem in the NFL, but hopefully that's in the rearview mirror. I mean, it's not about being a problem child. It's about just the problem and the whole look across the NFL. I still think nationally it makes us a non-likable team, but we'll see. Deshaun keeps winning and starts playing the kind of football we expect him to play, and maybe he looks a little bit better. Weather's a little bit better. Connects on some of the long balls. Looks like he's unstoppable out there. Perception is based on the last 24 hours. That's just kind of how things work.
Yeah, because locally it's really a non-issue, right?
It's a non-issue here.
Fans are not calling into your show angry that he's the quarterback. I can tell you just observing.
Because nothing's gone crazy sideways yet.
Right.
When something goes crazy sideways, then you'll hear from everybody.
Right. But like out of training camp the last 2 years, there were no protests. There were no organization. You know what I'm saying? Like honest to goodness, last year I thought like there were going to be picket lines out at.
Oh, I did too. I totally agree with you.
And there were not. So that I think that the temperature around that situation will, as you said, winning cures everything. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, he was accused of
exactly
some things, and as he retired, all the focus was on the Super Bowls he won and the Hall of Fame career that he had. So he's got to. We need to see from Deshaun some 300-yard passing games from him. Multiple touchdowns, running in multiple times for touch. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to see the guy we saw in Houston where he just is making opposing defenses look completely stupid and ridiculous, and he's setting them on fire on a regular basis. When he starts doing that, I think that the national media will, I guess, come around to be wanting to give the Browns love for being a good football team. I don't think that people want to hop on the bandwagon just yet, Andy. We're only 1 week into the season. Certainly Monday night's game is going to go a long way to growing that bandwagon, if you will. But everyone's been burned in the past by saying, hey, this is the year that the Cleveland Browns are going to be a Super Bowl contender or a contender for the AFC or contender for the AFC North. And then what happens? They bleep the bed and, it ends up being a disappointing season. I don't think that's happening this year. I think that the only way that happens with this football team this year is I don't even want to say the word. And I think, what?
Then don't. I know where you're going.
I don't want to put that bad juju out there in the karma sphere or whatever. But there's only one way that I feel like this is not going to be a good football team and a fun football team to watch. So we're not even going to think about it.
All right, then don't. I want to ask you one other topic before we get into our last thoughts on this game before it happens. I think a lot of people stayed. I'm sure the ratings were gigantic for ESPN on Saturday night, Colorado State, especially if you watch the first quarter. It was a down and dirty game. A lot of personal fouls.
Yeah, I
lot of jaw talking, some stupid hits.
The sidelines to empty, and they were just going to brawl at midfield at some point.
I thought that was coming too.
Yeah.
So before I ask you if you think Deion Sanders would work in the NFL, I do think for those of us around Northeast Ohio that remember Sean Lewis when he was at Kent State, who's now the current offensive coordinator at Colorado, right. A lot of people said, why would you leave a Division I job as a head coach to become a coordinator at another Division I school? And I think when this is all said and done, the biggest winner in this whole Deion Sanders story is going to be Sean Lewis. Now, did he get the benefit of picking up two really, really good players offensively at Colorado? Sure did, even though one got hurt on a stupid play in the beginning of the game. I mean, probably should have been ejected for that play. I was kind of surprised it was only a personal foul. But, I mean, look what Sean Lewis did at Kent State. He did something that most coaches can't do, and that's run off consecutive winning seasons in the Mid-American Conference. I'm not saying overall, because we all know that Mid-American Conference teams play pretty tough teams in the beginning of the year, like a Western Kentucky against Ohio State. But when you look at teams like that, you're going to take your lumps. And I mean, he went to Kent in 2018. They were 2-8, 2-10 their first year, suffered through it 1-7 in conference. And then by 2021, they went to the Potato Bowl, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. They won out there. They were first in the East. They did a lot of things. And at Kent State, it seems to be hard to get winning football there. And he left after last season to go out to Colorado to be the offensive coordinator. To me, sometimes it might look like he might be the man behind the scenes in Colorado that's making things happen while Deion can go out there and make sure that the world is looking at his team. What are your thoughts on that? And could Deion work in the NFL?
Yeah, I don't know that it's the worst thought. I mean, you just watch Deion on the sidelines, right? I mean, does it look like he's doing a lot of coaching, right?
Well, he's in the game. I mean, you can't take that. I mean, we don't know what Kevin Stefanski's truly doing on the sidelines or Mike Tomlin, who knows what he's doing on the sidelines, but that
program. You know what I mean? Like, he's the CEO of the program. He's the face of the program. He's brought a lot of attention to that program. He has put Colorado immediately back on the map. That game was exciting to watch last night, Saturday night. For those of you that are listening to this again on Monday, but as far as whether or not he could work in the NFL, I think so, because a lot of the NFL, there's not a lot of secrets in the NFL.
True.
It's a copycat league. It's about, can you light a fire under enough guys' asses to get you to, really get to that next level? And I think
without being Urban Meyer, that's the trick.
Well, right. But see, I don't think Deion is. Urban Meyer is a taskmaster, right? Deion's not a taskmaster. He's a player's coach. He's like you saw in the middle of that game. The receiver that dropped the ball, I forget his name. He had a drop, and he goes over to the sideline, and Deion hugs him, and he's got his arm around him, and he's talking to him, and you can see Deion say, "I love you, man." You know what I'm saying?
But we got to make that catch,
right? But you see what I'm saying? That's motivation. That's not getting in your beak and, hey, man, you better catch the bleeping ball. If you don't catch the bleeping ball, you're going to be on the bleeping. You know what I'm saying? It's not one of those things. Hey, man, I love you. You got to make that play for me. But we're coming back to you. He's a player's coach. He's a no-nonsense guy. You're going to give me 110% every time or you can't play for me. And I do think Deion could. I agree with Mike Florio. Mike Florio, I think, was on the Dan Patrick show earlier this week, and he was asked this very question. And I 100% agree with Florio. I think Deion Sanders could work in the NFL because he is a master motivator. And that's a big part of being, because these guys are paid millionaires in the National Football League, right? Their contract, for the most part, when they get their guaranteed money, their signing bonuses and stuff like that, that kind of sets them up. Their motive, because there are some guys that play the sport and make money and set up generational wealth for their families and stuff like that. Cause that was their out, right? That was their out to really make it in life. But maybe football really isn't their passion. I think Deion Sanders is really good at making football the passion of his guys. And that's why I think he'll work, because again, he's not like Urban Meyer, Andy. Urban Meyer,
no.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
He is
players love him. They don't hate him. Players
Right.
hated him. I mean,
they love him. They love playing for him. They want to make him happy and proud of the, you know what I'm saying? So I think Deion would 100% work in the NFL. I really do.
Last thought on that game. Don't think for a minute that didn't help Jay Norville either. The whole.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like I would say that yeah, that absolutely helped Colorado State. There's no question about that. That whole wearing the sunglasses and things like that at meetings, that absolutely helped.
Yeah, I think too. All right, Daryl, quickly, let's figure this out. Browns, Steelers, final thoughts. If you can go there.
Well,
go.
I'm intrigued to see like what ridiculously stupid catch George Pickens makes this week, because it seems like he makes one of those every week. Kenny Pickett, I just think that the book's out. It's the jury's still out on him. I don't know. I don't know if he's the next franchise quarterback for the Steelers. I do know this. It's Mike Tomlin. It's the Steelers. They are 100% showing up to play this game Monday night. So if the Browns think they're just going to walk into Pittsburgh, because they are, I will say the Cleveland Browns are the better football team in this game. And they're
they play. I agree with you. They play, but we'll see something different.
The Browns are the better team. And let's be honest about it. Since 1999, there have not been many opportunities where we could look at these two, this head-to-head match and say, yeah, Cleveland's got the better team. This case, the Browns are the better team. They need to go out there and show it, because you better believe you're going to get the Steelers' best punch Monday night, coming off that embarrassing 30-7 week 1 debut in that loss to the 49ers.
I second that. Look, no matter what, we will have a post-game edition, a short, quick post-game wrap after the game. So no matter how late it is, you'll be able to catch that a little bit after the game. Daryl and I will be doing a post-game edition right after the Monday Night Football game. So if you're awake at 3 o'clock in the morning, we got you covered, let me tell you. He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin for Meredith Kane, our great producer. It's always game day in Cleveland.